Yes, the rumors are true. Diddy actually might have a chance of walking away from this whole thing. Just a couple hours ago, the prosecution team dropped some charges. And you know who I blame? Kanye West. Couple days ago, he entered Diddy's court, not entered his court, walked into the court to show his support. And from my reliable source from Donkey News Networks, they said that he just walked in, he screamed, "My name is Kanye West, and I give my cousin head." Puff Diddy's innocent. Everyone's just jealous because he knows how to use baby oil better than all of you. He asks for consent whenever he wants to shakalaka boom boom. How do I know that? I don't want to. No comments. Kanye 2028 U.S. president, and he just walked out. It was a very strong and powerful message that came from Kanye West, and the prosecution decided to, what, we're gonna drop some charges. Now, on a serious note, what are these charges that are being dropped? The prosecution is pulling back on attempted kidnapping, attempted arson, and aiding and abetting shakalaka boom boom trafficking. Now, the prosecution and the defense went on for 29 days talking each other back and forth. Obviously, with the events of the past 2 weeks, everyone's been focusing on different things. There's a lot of witnesses, total of 34, took the stand. A lot of information went back and forth. At one point, just 2 days ago, Diddy's defense, before resting their case, a day after, they said, "Hey feds, Iran's the real threat. Stay out of Diddy's bedroom." The defense was being real goofy towards the end of their closing. In this case, I say the feds dropped the case. The crime is free. We need to focus on, the real threats. So the first charge, the attempted kidnapping one. A little bit of context. Capricorn Clog, as you can see on the photo above, she was a former Diddy assistant, and she was accused of stealing Diddy's jewelries. So in her testimony, she said that Diddy allegedly kidnapped her, and she was taken to a building and given a lie detector test to determine if she stole Diddy's jewelry or not. And 1 or 2 weeks ago, another person took the stand. It was Cassie's friend, who she said that during a freak-off, Cassie was allegedly held from a hotel balcony where Diddy was, mad at her and was hanging her, which later on got confirmed that, hey, Diddy wasn't even in London at the day that they claimed this whole thing took place. So in this area, the prosecution felt very short and decided to let these, drop these charges. Now, the second charge that's being dropped, the fireball situation where Diddy allegedly threw a Molotov cocktail at Kid Cudi's car out of jealousy of his relationship with Cassie and wanted to, break them off, so he can be with Cassie together and forever. Kid Cudi was dating Cassie at the time, and Diddy apparently was jealous, and he raged and he allegedly blew up the car. Not enough evidence. They are dropping the charges as they think it is going to be easier for the jury to focus on the main things, the trafficking and the shakalaka boom boom without consent and racketeering and all of that. So they decided to let these charges go. The last charge, aiding and abetting shakalaka boom boom trafficking charge, the prosecution didn't really explain the elements of it. But very important to know that the prosecution is not dropping the various shakalaka boom boom charges, only elements of them, and specifically aiding and abetting. So the main charges are there to stay. Only the small ones are going to be, dropped. And the prosecution said in their letter that they want an instruction that just because women like Cassie and Jane gave prior consent to shakalaka boom boom activities, it does not mean it can never be withdrawn. The prosecution said that before the jury come up with their decision, this needs to be told to them that just because a woman, Jane, who gave a false testimony that, hey, Diddy hung Cassie from the hotel balcony, and then it turned out to be false, just because, she received compensation does not preclude a finding of forced labor, which relates to trafficking. And as for the shakalaka boom boom trafficking, prosecutors want jurors to know neither physical restraint of the alleged victims nor commercial shakalaka boom boom acts are required to prove coercion in shakalaka boom boom trafficking. And when it came to Diddy's part to speak up, he said, "I don't need to testify. Let's just wrap this up quickly. I want to get back to my baby oil sessions. Baby oil in prison sucks or something. They're not giving me the good products. I don't know. But how did we get here? This is crazy." Obviously, all this stuff are allegedly, but I think what really kind of the whole case fell apart was the Jane part, where she said that Diddy hung cast you from the balcony and it turned out to be not true, that's when the jury, all give a big gasp. That was terrible. I sound like I'm dying. They gave a big gasp and they were like, what if all the other things that they've been saying back and forth, what if they're not true as well? So everyone, it's a 50-50 situation at this point. Diddy might actually get away with this whole thing. Obviously, the main big charges are still there. So anything can happen. Anything can happen at this point. Diddy might actually walk away from this whole thing and be like, white party at my house, celebration for, getting out after a whole year and a half. No free cuffs though. No more free cuffs. That was a close call. I am not getting into that situation again. Psych! Free cuff! He might serve 10 years, come out with white hair, or third option is he's just going to, have to continue his free cuffs inside prison for the rest of his life. Interesting to find out. Obviously, the government want him behind bars for his alleged crimes for the rest of his life because they didn't even go for a plan B. Domestic violence. If this whole thing falls apart and the jury is like, okay, not guilty, there is no plan B. Plan B could have been domestic violence, the hotel video footage, but he's not being charged with domestic violence. So he might actually have a chance of walking away from all of this for good. What's shocking to me that this is a federal case. With federal cases, they always have the evidence before they charge you with it. They don't catch you. And then later on, they investigate if you actually did it or not. I guess they got screwed with the evidence that was given to them by the victims, whoever was involved in this case. That's why they decided to drop some of the charges. Diddy's lawyers have been requesting for a mistrial after the false balcony situation. It can end in a mistrial as well, even though all of the requests were denied. But if all the jury cannot, agree on a verdict, the mistrial could be declared. When are we gonna find out the results? I have no clue. They're taking their time with it. The second the whole thing comes out, I'll keep you updated. Anyways, just wanted to tell you about this in case you missed it. More videos over here and on the second channel. You take it easy. I'll see you at the next one.